Welcome to another episode of Unwanted Football Opinions. Today we have our friend Vinay Chako with us. The last I remember, Vinay was the captain of a football team. So we have a celebrity with us.
Sure.
So we'll be talking about Barcelona today. And it'll be, so this is a part of the Let's Talk series. So Vinay, what do you think about their performances, the last two games, the one that they played yesterday and the one before that?
After Ronald Koeman came as the new manager, I think that they have seriously got really confident in play, which I have not seen this confidence in the Barca for the past 4 years, I would say. Last time we won the treble, after that I haven't seen this level of confidence. But
4 years?
Yeah, I'm serious. There's nothing that I could be happy about in that 4 years. So, it's only 2 games, you can't get carried away, but the first game was really good. Ansu Fati is I think really gem. He's like what strikers would say, a proper poacher. He can score goals beautifully. And yesterday also, it just shows the commitment of the team. They were down one man and played for more than half the game like that and still won 3-0 at a location which is away from home, and we haven't won there for the past 5 years. So that's, I think, testament to what's happening. But as I said, we can't get carried away. Hopefully this continues.
These 2 games have been against relatively easy opponents, if I can say so. So do you think it'll be wrong to say that Barcelona have actually improved a lot till they face an actual big team like, let's say, Atletico or Real or Sevilla or anything of that sort?
Thing is, Villarreal was actually had a good run of form. I don't know, they played badly against Barca maybe, but I think Barca played well. Yeah, relatively, if you would say, they still haven't played Atletico and Real. So, but if you look at how Barca have played in the last season and this season, if you had given the same situation to Barca last season, when they are one man down, I'm pretty sure they would have lost that game, even if it was against the Celta Vigo or anything. So yeah, even if they're going to face Real and all, I think if they continue this form, they're going to give it a good fight, definitely.
Okay, so we'll talk about their last game, the one that happened last night.
Yeah.
What do you think stood out, other than Ansu Fati, of course?
Yeah. In the first half, I don't think Messi was seen. Second half, he stood up, and I think either it was Koeman or someone in the team who just asked him to stand up, and he changed the game. 2 dribbles, amazing dribbles, both led to goals. And you could see that fire in him in the second half and showing that he was the true captain. He was just marshalling the troops, and they deserved the win. And also, Coutinho in the last 2 games, I would say, is the unsung hero. Ansu Fati scored the goals, but Coutinho assisted him in both games, and he has been amazing on the ball. He's doing what Messi used to do when Messi used to track back. Now Messi is playing more attacking, and Coutinho is coming, collecting the ball from midfield and distributing beautifully. Only thing is that Griezmann has to find his position and start scoring goals.
Positives are that Coutinho has actually stepped up a lot. Like, he's not like exactly at the Liverpool standard that he was, but definitely we should thank Bayern. We should give them like 2 gold medals and a bouquet and a bucket of chocolates, because the way Coutinho has come back from them, like, you can see that he wants to prove himself now, and the way that he's playing is proving it a lot. Like, you can say that he's like Pakka, the playmaker now. Not as much as Messi was, but he's definitely going up there. And Messi looked a bit off in the first half yesterday, but the second half, after they were one man down, all of them were really, really good. Yeah, and the thing about yesterday's game was they were pressing and playing dominant football throughout, but after maybe, let's say, 60 minutes, for the last half an hour, 25 minutes, they looked like they were running out of steam, and all of them were back in their own half trying to hold the ball from
that goal. You can't expect.
It's not a bad time.
No.
Yeah, it's not bad, so to say, but like speaking, but you can expect that. But it was very admirable that they managed without Langley, because he's like their primary defender now. PK is like kind of slowing down and being phased out slowly. So playing without technically your main defender was actually very commendable.
What I would have expected from seeing the Barca over the last 3 years, the Barca team and the manager, they would have gone much more conservatively if they went down 1-0. If they went down 1-man and they were coming for the second half, they would not be attacking. They would just sit back in defense. This is completely different. Ronald Koeman told them to go and attack, and they went and attacked, and they scored. And they scored in the last minute also. So.
We'll move on to our new signings. I think the only major signing they have made is Serginho Dest. Has there been any other signing of a name?
Serginho Dest, Pedri and Francisco Trincao.
Yeah, but they were signed long ago. But yeah, they came in now. Trincao, that guy is so good. Guy's first touch, his ball control. That guy is a legend.
Not yet.
He should have. Yeah, the thing was, I was thinking that maybe he should have come in last time only, etc., etc. But I think if he was there last time, they would have actually sold him off by now.
Exactly.
So it's good that he came at the time that he did. So what do you expect from any of the new signings? I've never seen Serginho Dest play. The only time I actually looked him up was when his name started being linked. I'm like,
same.
Bayern also interested. What is so great in this guy? And I went back and I watched a few of Ajax's games. He's not there. The thing is, Ajax had a very good deal on their hands because Dest is not even their starter. He's their backup, and they got almost up to 26 million or something for a backup right back, which is very good. But the positives for Barcelona are Roberto as the right back, and he's not a right back. So all these years you've been trying to make someone play out of position, and he's tried to hold up as much as possible. So getting a player who's always played as a right back for most of his life, he's only 19, but yeah, for most of his life, is actually, I think, a step up because he's a specialist. He knows what that role requires of him. What do you think about Dest?
From what I've seen of the highlights of him, it looks like he has the Barca game. Like he circulates the ball close. He doesn't just hack the ball upfield if you want to clear it. He makes good tackles. He keeps with the man, and he has amazing attacking abilities. So hopefully, if he continues to play like how he played in Ajax philosophy is almost the same as Barca's philosophy. If you look at Johan Cruyff, he was a founding father of both. So so hopefully he does the same thing.
Yeah, so I was talking about Riqui Puig and the whole Koeman Puig thing. Yeah. You already have a homegrown talent you don't have to pay a penny for, and his salary also is less. Why would you pay money for a player to come from outside when you have a player brought up in your own philosophy there?
I don't know. I didn't agree with Koeman. I thought Puig was an amazing player, and he has the capabilities of what it takes to be a proper Barca midfielder. People already compare him to Iniesta and Xavi and all. But maybe it's what he sees. He may see that Pedri has something that Puig doesn't have and might want that for the team. But personally, I feel Puig should still stay in the team. They should not send him on loan. Maybe they should send him on loan and have this thing that he should come back and play regular football.
Yep, but my point is, you technically paid some amount of money to buy Pjanic. He's a 30-year-old guy. Riqui Puig is 21. And people are already comparing him to Iniesta and Xavi and all. I know that Barcelona players generally tend to be hyped up more than they're actually worth. Yeah. But Riqui Puig is actually good. He's actually very, very good. And you've seen that people like Messi and all link up very well with La Masia players. So the game, if you saw Riqui Puig's first game or Ansu Fati's first game, you could see that Messi was linking up with them very instinctively. They didn't have to work hard for it. So that is the thing that La Masia has that other places don't have. So when you know that he fits in right with your team philosophy, with the style of play, why would you actually want him out? So maybe, like you said, he does not see...
That's what I don't have an answer for that. I think it depends on Koeman. But if Koeman has a proper reason for it, then fine. But I don't think that Puig should go personally. But if it's the board doing this, then it's really pissing off. Because the board has done some nonsense decisions over the past few years. Arthur for Pjanic. I know Pjanic is amazing defensively, and I think he can play really well, even though people give him so much nonsense. A lot of Barca fans are not giving.
I personally hate him a lot.
Yeah.
Because you said
But-
Arthur the other way. People, even Harvey said he used to play like him.
That's
Harvey
it.
himself.
So I don't know, but I think we just have to give him time. But still, there are really a lot of decisions that have been bad. Why bring in Nelson Semedo if you have to sell him off in 3 years? Why send Luis Suarez
Exactly.
without any proper sending off? That was the worst way to send off Luis Suarez.
In retrospect, the Arthur Pjanic swap was because they wanted to get Koeman on board always for a very long time. And all of us knew that not Valverde, Kike Setien was like a band-aid fix for that time.
Kike Setien was a puppet for the board.
They literally wanted him to be the guy who would take the fall for them. So they just got a guy who would
Yeah.
not say anything. So that is an obvious problem
Yeah, exactly.
with their philosophy itself. And since we're already done with talking about the new signings, so in summary, Trinka was great, Pedri is great, Dest is great, everybody is great. Good job for once.
Hopefully. We have to see how this goes. Yeah.
We're talking about the exits now. So we'll first talk about the Arthur one because it's the oldest, the one that we've known for a long time. Like we've already discussed about it, nobody knows why they've done it, but he will do good at Juventus, and since they are also having a midfield revolution, maybe he'll do better there. But I think Pjanic is very good for the way Koeman is setting up the team with a double pivot. We can see that Busquets is not sitting in well with the double pivot. He's not able to. He was very good. I'm not saying Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi, along with Steven Gerrard have to be like my top midfielders of all time. So I can't say Busquets is doing bad and all, but he's not fitting in well with the team right now. Like you see that Jordi.
Yesterday he played extremely well.
He played well. Maybe after the first game he's like, no, I have to do well now. So if you see that both Roberto and Jordi Alba keep going up. So because both of them are attacking, the defense is left with only 2 people. So De Jong keeps falling back. So they need that one person to hold his position. And Busquets was not able to do that very well in the first game. And maybe that's where Pjanic comes in. So he slots back and they'll have a full defense again, even though both players are going up and attacking.
Yeah, exactly. He's more defensive minded. He has crazy amount of interception. And he can take dead balls if Messi is tired or something. Then,
So that works well for us in the longer term. The other thing was, obviously, Luis Suarez. You don't like him, you think he's old, he's injury prone, he's not doing well enough for you, etc.
I love him. Don't get me wrong. I love him. But I would say he was the best striker. Okay, Robert Lewandowski also, like equally, in the past few years. Definitely.
Before injury, I agree.
Not exactly. Yeah, before his injury. He was a brilliant player. He's like what you would say, give him any ball in the box, he'll score. But he was getting older, obviously. So, but the way they treated him was bad.
Yeah, everybody has to agree with that. He was a lethal finisher. You knew it. So, when the MSN was there, before it became M and S, and then it finally became M, they were like among the most feared trios, if not the most feared trio in world football at that time. And one of the reasons was Suarez, because however you give him the ball, he'll finish.
Yeah.
From that, yes, he's had injuries. Yes, you couldn't trust him much with finishing games or scoring goals, whatever it is. You could have had him on the bench. So I'll talk about the problems with having him on the bench. When you have a superstar player like that who has a superstar friend like Messi, both Messi and Suarez both would be pissed off if Suarez doesn't play. That's one problem with having him on the bench. Second thing, you play him and he gets injured, you're again taxing your primary striker, who is Griezmann. Third thing, his wage is astronomical. Apparently, Barcelona pay 50 million or in excess of that only in wages every year. 50 million only in wages. So, you got him off your book. You got him off your books, it's fine. Okay, so that one way is good. Bad thing was, you sold him. You don't sell him to people in the same league. 1. 2, you don't sell him to your direct rivals. You sold him to Atletico Madrid, who you couldn't win a game against last season. I couldn't understand what was going on. And to top that all off, Atletico Madrid's last game, they won 6-1. I don't know what the world is coming to. 6-1. Atletico Madrid scored 6 goals.
6 goals.
Unimaginable. And out of that, 3 had involvements from Suarez himself. So he's like, you send me out, now I'm going to prove myself here. So
Yeah, it's scary.
So if any team wants to learn from Barcelona how you don't mess up. You don't sell your players to your direct rivals. I know that Suarez is technically past his prime, but yes, he was a club legend. Like you said, there was a problem of his sending off. He was literally crying. And it didn't look like he was crying only because like he was sad about leaving. He was crying about the way in which they threw him out. Like Koeman came out and said that we never said that Suarez is not a part of our plans and we're going to like throw him out and all that. I never said that, but I told him that Griezmann would be given more priority or whatever it is. So we don't know what to believe right now, but whatever it is, you can't just say, okay, Suarez, we want you out of the team. 3 weeks later, throw him out to your direct rivals, ship him off for free. The only money you're going to get is from bonuses. I don't think Atletico is going to win anything. So technically, you're not going to get a single penny from selling him. Why would you send a striker to your opposite team when you know you are going to play him in the Champions League? You are going to play him in the La Liga. He will come and he will score goals against you. I don't understand what they were thinking of. But yeah, opinions. Either of you can talk.
I don't think it was Koeman's decision to sell him to Atletico. Definitely not. Maybe it was his decision to phase him out of the team slowly. But it has to be, there is something detrimental to Barca in that road. Hopefully this note of no confidence goes through and whoever is doing that gets out.
Yeah, so I think we're done talking about exits, but let's just mention our brother Rakitic. Yes, he was influential in winning our treble. He was useful in other things as well. But yeah, he was already past his prime now, and I think it was a good option of selling him. But selling him for 1 million is not good. Next, you sell Arturo Vidal. How much did they get for him? 5 million? 6 million? What? Something like that.
3, I think. I'm not sure.
My god, that's even worse. They apparently got 3 million for Vidal. The thing was, though Vidal was not great as such, he and Messi used to link up very well. Everybody knew that. And in the first game, Messi did not have that connection with anybody else. So that looked a bit weird. But yeah, they were past their prime at this point, and in retrospect, in hindsight, it looks good. But it's only been 2 games, so we don't really know, because all of these are still untested players. In crunch situations, you don't know how they're going to respond. So we're just backing them. So as of now, since Messi said Barcelona does not seem to have a project, this looks like a very long-term project. Opinions?
So yeah, basically Rakitic, I think Rakitic was one of the best deals we've done in the past 10 years. Rakitic and Ter Stegen, and obviously Suarez and Neymar. Best deals, definitely, hands down. Rakitic is an amazing player. He fit into the Barca way of playing beautifully. But yeah, as you said, I think he's past his prime, and they were going to phase him out anyway. So selling him, was a good decision. And we can't argue with selling him within the league, because the only other team he was going to go back to was Sevilla. So he would not have left to any other team. And what I feel bad is that we have made so many transfers in the past 3 years, and out of that, more than 90% of them have failed and have gone back. Now again, there is this talk that Ousmane Dembele might go to Man U with buy option on the loan.
Please take him. Take him for free if that's all it takes. Take him. At least he won't eat up our medical budget.
Yeah, he has a lot of chances of getting fractured, but what I think is he has amazing quality.
Yes, undoubtedly.
He is a proper winger, and he can play beautifully. Only thing he has to sort out are his injuries and his discipline. He doesn't come to practice on time. That's what I've heard from the news. I can't say anything. That's what I've heard from the news. And hopefully, if Koeman gives him his chances and he takes them, he'll be good. Koeman has said that he will rely on Dembele. Hopefully, I don't want him to leave, because when I heard that we got Dembele, I was really pumped up. At that time, Dembele was as good as Mbappe. He was as good as Mbappe. So I don't know. Maybe he just something happened, he's got injuries. But I hope this season he does really well. Coutinho is as of now he's playing amazing. Hopefully this continues. Griezmann, they just need to find a position for him.
Yeah, so I think let's talk about how they phased out most of their players. You want players to leave. Good. It's natural to want to refresh your team. In a time when the whole market is reeling from the COVID crisis, whatever, you don't go out in a press conference and say, I want everybody out. And Bartomeu is supposed to be a corporate wizard or something of that sort. He's supposed to be a great businessman. What logic, with what common sense do you go out and say, I want everybody out? Who is going to pay you money now? What logic is this?
Messed up. I don't know. It's so sad. It's so terrible.
Yeah, so the other thing we have to talk about is the tactics. Under Kike Setien, I guarantee you there were no tactics. I don't know what was going on the field there. But since Valverde to now, Valverde actually had some plans in place. But the thing was, he was diverting from the Barcelona ways. But I was reading an article the other day. He was talking about how Barcelona should now move on from the Guardiola way, which is actually pretty fair. We always try to compare managers, and the one person we compare them is always to Guardiola. We have to face it that nobody can be Guardiola again. You can't get the same quality again. But the problem is we've got so used to that style of play that we can't accept anybody else. And it has been detrimental to our team. Your opinions about it?
Yeah. Basically, Guardiola had an amazing style of play, that he was a brilliant tactician, but he also had an amazing team, one of the best teams in the world. But still, they needed him to implement that, definitely. But yeah, that was like classic tiki-taka. So now, as of now, I feel that we cannot have that play, because firstly, we don't have that kind of players. None of them are home. Like those players were bathed in La Masia. Half of our players are not even from La Masia.
All around the world.
Yeah. So I also feel that you need that kind of play. Plus, in addition, you need quick counterattacks. You need proper defending. And with Ter Stegen, I think personally that he is definitely one of the best goalkeepers in the world. I would say second to Neuer as well.
Yeah, definitely. Jitto, do you agree with the analysis of Manuel Neuer being first and Ter Stegen being second?
Yeah, I can see that. Now, as far as Germany is concerned, I can agree that many people are saying Leno should replace Ter Stegen after like yesterday's performance, but Leno still has a long way to go. And I would see Ter Stegen because of his experience at the highest stage, right?
Yeah, the other thing was, other than Messi, the standout performer for the past 2 seasons has been Ter Stegen. So we were talking about tactics now. As of now, Koeman wanted to play with a 4-2-3-1 double pivot, if I'm not wrong. So in that way, left is Jordi Alba, Longley, Piqué, right is Roberto or Dest now. If Dest proves that he's fighting for the team or he gets into the team. The double pivot is De Jong and Busquets / Pjanic. Then in the midfield we go to left is Ansu Fati, middle is Coutinho, right is Messi, and striker is supposed to be Griezmann. Any corrections?
Yeah, that I would go with the same team. And in right back, I would say Sergio Dest has competition from Conrad de la Fuente. And in midfield, instead of Messi, I really feel that I really feel that the difference in these few games under Koeman is that the team is not overly relying on Messi. That is what I feel. Yeah. They are giving the ball to other players than Messi, and Messi is free to do what he wants and score goals when he feels like.
The pass that day Coutinho gave to Fati, did he not see Messi, or is there something else on his mind? And he passed it to Fati and Fati scored. Like, he went through between the legs under the goalkeeper, which is brilliant. So that showed that okay, now because when Coutinho came, anybody who came into Barcelona was always going to live under the shadow of Messi, obviously. But when Coutinho used to play before he left for Bayern, he always looked like he had that inferiority complex that he couldn't, like, what should I say? He was scared to express himself on the field. It doesn't look like that now. Coutinho still is a little bit reserved, but he looks more confident now. And I think we have to thank Bayern for that. And we also have to thank Koeman because he said, I'm going to trust him, and he's a brilliant player. And he is proving his brilliance. The other thing I wanted to say was, Griezmann is supposed to be the striker. He's supposed to be the, forward-most player from our side. But how we are seeing the game is Messi is supposed to be in the right, so Messi drops in between. Ansu Fati goes in front. Coutinho goes slightly left, so both Messi and Coutinho play kind of in the middle, attacking midfielders. Messi is not playing mostly like a forward. He does go front, but then Griezmann comes off to the right. I don't understand I understand like your team is trying to be fluid and you're shifting shapes, etc., etc. But if Griezmann is supposed to be the second striker, he has no business being on the right side at all. Like, if any of you have an explanation for that,
what I think is happening is, while going forward, Coutinho takes up the playmaking position. Messi drops in front of him. So basically, Messi is taking Griezmann's position, and Griezmann goes to the right, but not Messi's position exactly. The same line as Messi as a forward, but he goes to the right. So that's what we've been so used to in the past years, because usually Messi goes center and Suarez also is there, but Messi used to play in Coutinho's position and Suarez would be in front of him. Now Messi is playing center and Griezmann is playing right. So what I think is, personally, Griezmann should be playing center and Messi should be playing on the right. But I don't know, like Messi can finish as good as Griezmann. So, but I really hope that Griezmann gets accustomed to that position, or they have to change tactics, as I said.
So maybe instead of it being like a 4-2-3-1, it now looks like a 4-2-1-3. Ansu Fati goes up in front, left.
Yeah.
Messi is in the middle. Griezmann is slightly towards the right.
Yeah, that's while attacking.
Yeah,
while attacking, it becomes a 4-2-1-3.
And I'm not saying it's weird, but the thing about Griezmann is also not an out and he's like a second striker, just behind the striker. So maybe if Ansu Fati takes up the role of a striker, or Messi takes up the role of a striker, he can be just behind him, either feeding him or feeding off the striker himself. Either way.
Yeah. So last year Griezmann was playing on the left. Now we have Ansu Fati on the left and Griezmann is playing on the right. So I think he's better on the right because he's left-footed basically. So he can cut in and score, especially to that far post shot. So which he's quite good at, and he can also play with Messi. I mean, like give quick 1-2s at the edge of the box and score. So hopefully Koeman just continues giving him chances. I'm pretty sure he'll take one of those and he will show what he's meant to be. Hopefully. Otherwise, we have to play Trincao in that position. Yeah, he's good, but he still needs a little ironing out some things, and he should pass more, I think. But he's really good.
Yeah, so the other thing was, since Neymar, I think we have spent over 600 or 700 billion trying to sign players who would fit in that position. They should have always been looking at La Masia to try and fill that gap, and finally under Ernesto Valverde the chance came to Ansu Fati, and it's finally working. Like the left side finally looks alive now with Fati. Like that speed that the team was lacking is finally there now because of the way this guy plays.
Yes, exactly. And he can fill in as a beautiful poacher. So he scores goals along with just dribbling and making chances. He scores goals. So that's only from 2 matches. We can't say, but hopefully he continues this towards the end.
There's the other issue of depending on him now too much, people hyping him up like to be the successor of Messi. Right. His clause is set at 400 million or whatever. They should already be planning for backing up these set positions. Now we can see that Messi is going to leave eventually or whatever. So they're trying not to be only reliant on him. Now if you're going to pin all your hopes on Ansu Fati and eventually he leaves, again you'll be back to square one trying to replace Fati, trying to replace Messi, whoever, whatever, and etc. So I think it's finally time, because Barcelona has always been that club that it was never like before, after Guardiola only it's become like you buy and get people in. It's always been generally 1 or 2 big signings, and then the rest come from your academy. And that's how champion teams are built. You build over a period of time. You saw Bayern in 2013. The next time they won the treble was now, and most likely you can say that they're also going to win all the 6. And they'll be the only other team after Barcelona of 8-9 to do it, 2009 to do it. So technically, they spent the 7 years trying to build a team that is now all conquering. They literally won everything in their path. So maybe they should take notes from a rival who is actually doing something sensible. Trust in your youth. Trust in people who are going to be there in the future for you. Let's move on to we already talked about the possible XI with the tactics. So if Vidya, you can tell me your XI, is it any different from mine?
As I said, it's almost the same as yours. I think also as they are not relying too much on Messi, as before, he's still the best player in the team and they should rely on him when they're down. They should also start giving Ronald Araujo more chances in centre back instead of PK, because PK is also getting old. And they should get Garcia somehow. Eric Garcia, they should buy him before the deadline, because we need a centre back.
And it's not that Eric Garcia is very good or that Ronald Araujo is the great and all. But if you start playing them now, they'll improve.
Yeah, both of them are from our academy. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, and they are, as of what I've seen the highlights, they are good. They are good players. You don't need to spend huge amounts of money for
they are actually very good. And I think they're slowly trying to phase out these players now, with Busquets slowly being moved out. But there's actually no replacement for PK yet. So what they could do is this slowly start, like you said. You don't get Garcia, at least you have not a ready-made, but you have an option there. Slowly start playing them to see how they might do. So you'll know if you can depend on them or not. You just can't say one day because PK is old now, he's not fast enough, or you say that he's injured and you just can't make him sit down. And if you see the problem now, Pep Guardiola at City is struggling for defenders. He spent 400-500 million on defenders only. And it's not that they're bad. It's just that they have failed to replace players like Vincent Kompany and all. Fernandinho is too slow. Vincent Kompany, when he was there, he was very good, but then he was also aging, so he had to leave. So if you stay with people they might work for you. I'm not saying they won't work. I'm not saying PK won't work now. He might work, but
PK,
think about
currently
long term.
He's the best centre back we have, definitely. So we have to think about long term.
We can talk about what we can expect from the team now. What do you think they can do? What do you think they can
as
win?
I started off with, I'm very happy with the past 2 performances. Amazing. I have some confidence in the team. I'm seeing some different confidence in the team, different level of confidence in the team, which was not there, what I personally think, in the past few years. And hopefully we just continue this. Hopefully there are no injuries, no bust-ups, no angry players with the management, and our signings do well. Like Dembele comes back, starts playing well. Griezmann starts playing well. Coutinho just continues his amazing form. And Pedri and Trincao keep on getting chances. And Sergio Dest obviously comes in and takes the world by storm, hopefully.
You think we can win the La Liga or go a little bit deeper and not get thrashed as badly as we did this Champions League?
From these 2 performances, I actually think we have a great chance of winning the La Liga. From these 2 performances. Champions League, we can't say, obviously. We always seem to lose in the second leg and we got thrashed by Bayern.
Champions League is
played amazing.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game. Since Roma season, I'm not saying we were good before that, but since that season, it's been getting increasingly worse every year.
Yeah.
And it was only 1 leg at Bayern, with Bayern. God knows what would have happened if we had 2.
I was so pissed. I was so sad. Yeah, but I think our group is with Juventus, Dinamo Kiev and Ferencvaros. So hopefully we don't get upset by the Dinamo Kiev and Ferencvaros. And hopefully we beat Juventus. So I think if we beat Juventus in the group stage, we have confidence to go to the knockout stages. And we can play our game. So I'm not saying like we have a great chance of winning the Champions League. Hopefully, I think we can do decently well. And La Liga with what I've seen in these two matches, I think we have a great chance.
That brings us to a close. Thank you, Vinay. You can say your goodbye.
Bye. Thanks for having me. Privilege.
This is Elijah signing off. Jittu
Jittu signing off.
Yes. Bye bye.